Okay, welcome to the Friday, June 30th, 2023 Ann Arbor District Library Board of Trustees meeting. Have we taken attendance? Okay, can I have a motion for moving to closed session for labor negotiations and opinion of legal counsel?
Let me make one modification.
Okay.
Our counsel is not able to be here today, so it's just labor negotiations.
Just labor negotiations, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hadley?
Yes.
Trustee Kleinman?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Trustee Silva?
Yes.
Trustee Trudell?
Yes. Okay, vote passes, so we will recess to closed session and reconvene our regular meeting in this room at 3:30 p.m.
Friday night took care of my weekday blues. I woke up, had breakfast, and read the news. I'm feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. But I feel like there's something I'm forgetting to do.
Hey, Toby, the show's about to start.
Oh yeah, it's a Saturday show. 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 It's a Saturday show.
Art! Beautiful day, isn't it, Toby?
Breakfast is served, fellas. Bon appetit.
This looks good, Fred. You're really coming into your own with your cooking.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah, Fred, some of the dishes you've made have been top-notch.
Aw, thanks, big guy. I've been trying real hard to hone my skills. I think I've even gotten better at making human food. That one there is called Toad in the Hole.
Where'd you learn to make this one, Fred?
I picked that one up from one of my cooking classes.
You're taking cooking classes, Fred?
Absolutely, Otto. My goal is to be the best frog chef there ever was.
An admirable goal, if I do say so myself.
Thank you, Otto.
So, Fred, what are you gonna do with the rest of your day?
Well, I wanted to ask you guys a question.
Go for it, Fred.
Well, there's a girl in my cooking class. Her name is Tasha, and well...
Do you like her, Fred?
I kinda do, Toby, but I've got a problem.
What kind of problem?
Oh, it's not a big problem, just kind of a small problem, but it could be a big problem if...
Fred, what is it?
Well, Tasha said she wanted to go visit an art museum with me.
That's great, dude.
Yeah, except I don't know very much about art, and I'd like to impress her.
Sounds like you do like her, Fred.
Toby, be nice. And don't worry, Fred, I have an idea. Let me make a few phone calls, and Toby, you can introduce the word of the day.
Well, you heard him, folks. Up next is Kashi and Christopher with the word of the day.
Hey, Kashi, how's my portrait coming along?
It's coming along fine. Number 5 paintbrush, please.
There you go. You must really like art, don't you, Kashi?
Number 2, please. Oh yeah, I love all kinds of art.
Here you go. You know, Kashi, I can't wait to see my portrait.
Oh yeah, you might be kind of surprised by it. Can I have the pink marker, please?
Sure, here you go.
Thank you.
Kashi, do you like going to museums?
I love art museums, especially sculpture. Can I have the scissors, please?
Okay, but be careful with these, all right, Kashi? And hey, while you're working, I think we should do the word of the day. And you know, I have to leave pretty soon to go on an art walk with Big Fred and the rest of the Saturday Show gang. Hey, there you go. Thanks. Do you want to activate Lexi?
Oh, sure.
Well, let's see what the word of the day is, Kashi. Do you need a hand? Do you know what that says?
It says abstract.
That's right. It does say abstract. Do you know what abstract art is?
Well, kind of, not really.
Abstract art is a kind of representation that some people say is not very realistic looking.
Oh,
Yeah.
that might be a good word for my picture.
Okay. And you know, today's episode is all about art. Hey, are you almost ready to show the painting?
Yes, I am almost ready. Wait, I am ready.
But first, I think we should do the summer game code, don't you?
Okay.
Here it is. It's 7 letters. It's a word from French, and it means to take a bunch of stuff, and usually you glue them all together and you make a brand new piece of art from the collection.
Oh, wow, there's a word for that?
That's right. And if you think you know the answer, you can go to play.aadl.org for big points. That's right. All right, shall we take a look?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Great. Wow, Kashi, it's wonderful. I love it. And I think I can see a likeness of myself in there. You know, though, I've got to run because I've got to go join the Saturday Show Art Walk. I'll see you next time. So long.
Okay, Fred, to aid you on your quest, I've arranged for you to meet with the gang at this location.
Oh, thanks, Otto. Should I bring anything with me?
Just a sharp eye, my friend.
Do you want us to go with you, Fred?
That's okay, Toby. You know I'm a pretty independent fella. And anyways, you guys have the show to host.
Yeah, Toby, Big Fred will be A-OK.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm gonna take off my apron and head out. You fellas have a good show.
See you soon, Fred.
Where'd you send him off to, Otto?
He's going to meet up with the gang for an art walk.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
I hope it is. So, Toby, what do we have next?
I thought you'd never ask, bud. Since Fred's going on an art walk and then going to the art museum, I think today's episode should be all about art. And I've got the perfect person to kick us off. Lucy's got an awesome social art project that everyone can do at home. Check it out.
Hi, I'm working on this really cool project where I am making these miniature works of art called Artist Trading Cards, or ATCs. ATCs were started as a conceptual art project by the Swiss artist M. Betsy Sternemann in 1997. He wanted to create an art project that required people to work together, required collaboration.
You can make artist trading cards with any arts or crafts materials that you have around. There are only 2 rules. First, cards must be 2.5 by 3.5 inches. This is the same size as a baseball card or a Pokemon card. And you should sign and date your cards on the back. Otherwise, you could do whatever you want.
You can trade your finished cards with other ATC makers, or you can just work on building a collection of your own. Have fun.
What is it? It's made mostly of wood, but it also has a metal rod and some screws. It can move, and it's shaped like a human. What is it?
Thank you guys so much for meeting me out here. I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about art.
You're welcome, Fred. Great to see you, Fred.
This is gonna be fun, Fred.
Art walk!
Are you guys ready to go? Let's go see some art!
I think I'm ready to go. Let's see what's what.
Art walk!
So Fred, this was made in 1968 from Tony Rosenthal, a UM alumnus, and it's one of 5 in the country, and it's called the Endover, and it's one of my favorite places to meet in public, and it's also spinning and turning.
Oh, Christopher, you gotta be careful, man. Let me help you out.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Murals are so pretty! And this one, it's so blue!
All right, I think I'm getting the hang of this. Look, art.
Yeah, Fred, this is art.
Gonna see some stuff that you wouldn't believe.
this art too? It looks like a doorway or something.
Yeah, Fred, this is definitely art. Art doesn't have to be a drawing or a painting or a photograph. It can be...
What about this? Is this art? I'm starting to understand this art thing. Thank you so much, everyone. It seems like art is everywhere. You just have to know to look for it.
Good luck, Fred. Have fun at the museum.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Anusri. One of my favorite paintings is Vincent van Gogh's bedroom in Arles. I love the story behind it and also the fact that Van Gogh loved painting everything around him. In this case, it was his new bedroom in the new town he had just moved to. Van Gogh was so happy and hopeful to be here, so he wanted to make a picture of his new room for his brother. This room is really simple, but Van Gogh painted it using really bright colors to show just how special it was to him. In fact, Van Gogh loved this painting so much that he ended up painting it 3 different times. Each time just slightly different. So if you look at all 3 of them at once, it's like playing Spot the Difference. One of my favorite paintings I've ever made is called Rituals Plants. I wanted to paint something that I really enjoy doing. And for me, that's both painting and working with plants. I had so much fun painting all the many little leaves and all the details in this painting. I hope you like it.
Hi, my favorite artist is Romare Bearden. My favorite piece by him is called The Conversation. The favorite piece that I've made is called She of Tranquility.
Let's take a draw break. Now this draw break takes time and patience, but if you stick with it, you'll have a very cool optical illusion at the end. You'll need a hard surface, a piece of paper, and a pencil. Fold that sheet of paper in half. Then draw a gentle curving line across the middle of it. Really make sure the curves are gentle and not too steep. Next, draw 8 dots along this line, spaced at all different distances from each other. Now draw bumps to connect each of these dots along the top and along the bottom. Great. Now pick one of these bumps, it doesn't need to be this one, and camp out on it. Start and end at the same 2 dots and keep drawing bumps extending out from them. As the bumps grow bigger and bigger, you'll notice that the sides grow darker and darker as you travel the same path back up and back down again and again. Now these bumps might balloon out a little bit or start to wobble off to one side. That's great. Okay, now grab a scrap sheet of paper and slip it underneath your drawing page. Continue to draw those bumps right off the edge of the page, like this. Perfect. Now pick a new bump somewhere else on the page and camp out there. Pretty soon you'll notice that in some places you only have space to cram in a few extra bumps. That's okay too. Some bumps balloon out and others get pinched off. Wherever you can, extend your drawing right off the page. Pretty soon you have yourself a wild and crazy design. Cool, huh?
Now you can keep your optical illusion as is, or you can add shadow or colors to make it really pop. Thanks for taking a draw break with me.
I've always loved art philosophy. For example, what is art? Are we art? Is art art?
A shark? You have a phone call. It's art.
Hey, Kashi!
Hi, Sally.
I've got a joke for you.
Okay.
What does Salvador Dali have for breakfast?
What does Salvador Dali have for breakfast? I don't know.
A bowl of cereal.
Hey, Katie, I got a joke for you.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Art.
Art 2.
R2D2.
Ha! Yes, funny.
Yeah.
What is it? It's a wooden mannequin. Artists use these to help them draw the human figure. They can be posed all different sorts of ways. A mannequin.
Otto, did Fred make it back from his art walk?
He sure did, Toby. He's getting ready for his museum visit. Tasha is going to be here any minute.
Ooh, Fred and Tasha sitting.
Toby,
What?
be professional.
Okay.
Was that the door? I'll get it. It's probably for me. Hi, Tasha.
Hi, Fred. You're looking dapper today.
Oh, thanks. You're looking nice as well.
Thank you, Fred. Well, are you all ready to visit the Fart Museum?
Did you say we're going to the Fart Museum?
Fred, don't worry. I was just kidding. There's no such thing as a fart museum.
I like her, Otto.
Oh, good. So the art museum then.
Absolutely. I can't wait to go.
All right, fellas, I'm off. I'll see you later.
Bye, Fred.
Bye, Tasha. Have fun. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Today is the day I get to go camping. Gotta get Toby. Toby? No. Toby? No. Toby? Ah, there you are.
Oh, hey, Otto. You ready to go?
I certainly am, Toby. Do you have everything packed?
I have everything except your to-go bag. Do you have that?
Yep, I put it by the front door. I've got my clothes and my fishing pole and my hat. I'm all set to see the great state of Michigan.
All right. Seems like we're almost ready to go. There's one more thing to do. We've got to call Lucy and make sure she's got everything she needs to host the show.
I'm on it. Lucy. Oh boy, am I excited. Me and Toby are going camping today.
Oh, I'm glad you're finally getting to go, Otto.
Thanks, Lucy. And do you have everything you need to host the show?
I sure do. As a matter of fact, I was just reading a book about Michigan.
Glad to know you're prepared, although I didn't expect anything else. I hope you have fun hosting the show. Bye!
It's a Saturday show. 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 It's a Saturday show.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Saturday Show. Was that my doorbell? Hold on a second. I better get that. Hello? Hello? You're a flamingo. In Michigan.
I'm Clarissa. I left my home in the Caribbean 5 days ago.
The Caribbean? That's quite a distance. You want to come in? So it sounds like you flew from a very great distance to get here.
I, as a flamingo, can fly over 350 miles at one time. I stopped here today because I saw all this water from up above. What is this place?
Well, this is Michigan.
Michigan? Tell me all about it. Food, water sources, culture?
Well, Clarissa, I'm not from Michigan either. But you know, I have an idea about who we could ask. I bet that the Saturday Show friends could help us out. What is it that you want to know?
Absolutely everything.
Well, we'll start with my friends Kashi and Christopher, who will tell us the word of the day.
Word of the day? How quaint.
Marco!
Polo!
Marco!
Polo!
Marco!
Polo!
Hey, Kashi, there you are.
Oh, hi, you found me.
I did, and look who else I found.
Oh, hi, Lexi.
It's Lexi. You know, Kashi, we're filming on location today. Location in Michigan. Because this episode is all about Michigan.
Where are we?
Well, we're at the Peony Garden in Ann Arbor on the campus of the University of Michigan, and the peonies are just about to pop.
Oh, wait, so we're in a garden full of flowers called peonies?
That's right, and they're going to be so beautiful. I just love it here. Are you ready for our word of the day?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk to Lexi and see what she's got for us. Well, let's see what it says. Can you read this, Kashi?
It says pawpaw.
That's right, it does say pawpaw.
What's a pawpaw?
Well, a pawpaw is a delicious fruit. You have to wait until it gets a little bit soft. And it's also a city in southwest Michigan.
Oh.
And are you ready for the summer game code?
I am.
Okay, here it is. It's 9 letters.
Wow.
And it means a piece of land that's surrounded on 3 sides by water.
Oh.
And Michigan is very famous for it.
Oh, I see.
Both of them.
Okay.
All right. Well, if you think you know the answer, you can go to play.aadl.org for
Pick
That's right. Until next time, happy Michigan. Polo!
So, Michigan is very large. Was there something specific that you wanted to learn about?
Did you know that the beautiful color of my feathers comes in large part from what I eat? I am very curious to know what kind of foodstuffs are grown locally so that I may think about enhancing my brilliant plumage. Perhaps some rich hued fruit?
Michigan does have a rich history of food and agriculture. Let's check in with a shark to learn more about this.
Hey, it's a shark, wandering around Michigan, trying to find some snacks for Clarissa. Let's take a look at the ground to see if there's any shrimp or fish to munch on. What's this? A tiny dolphin brain?
No, a shark. That's what humans call an apple.
Thanks, Farmer Pete, whoever you are. And do humans often eat them?
Well, sure. Have a bite.
Yum, that was delicious. And where does such a apple come from? Are there more?
Why, sure there are, a shark. In this special part of West Michigan, we're surrounded by apple trees. They grow easily in this fertile area called the Fruit Ridge.
Wow. So, are you telling me that the Fruit Ridge was formed millions of years ago when glaciers pushed the land into gentle rolling hills, leaving behind clay loam soils with superior moisture holding qualities? And because of its proximity to Lake Michigan, provides a unique climate that is ideal for growing fruit and vegetables?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
What a fruity wonderland, Farmer Pete. Well, Clarissa, it's an all-you-can-eat apple buffet over here on West Michigan's Fruit Ridge.
How wonderful! So many different types of apples to give a boost to my chromatic feathers.
Is your curiosity being satisfied so far?
Well, you've scratched the surface, but I'd like to know more.
Do you like guessing games?
What is it? This delectable-looking dish is a favorite of many Michiganders. We start with a steamed hot dog bun and add a grilled hot dog, some Detroit-style chili, remember kids, no beans, and then top it all off with a greasy helping of yellow mustard and chopped onions. Use a fork if you want, but if you don't, make sure to have plenty of napkins on hand. Bon appetit!
That concoction is confounding, dear. But anyway, did you know that my fellow flamingos and I are wading birds? In fact, it was the very sight of all that water that caused me to alight here in Michigan. What can you tell me about this abundance of water?
You know, Clarissa, I'm pretty sure that Lauren is in the water right now. I think he'd be the perfect person to tell us more.
Wow, it's a beautiful day out on the river today, Hazel. Absolutely. We're so lucky to have the Huron River running right through Ann Arbor. We really are. It's so fun to paddle the rapids near Argo Park and then just float on down the river here to Gallup. The air is fresh, the scenery is pretty, and if you keep your eyes out, there's plenty of wildlife to spot. Like muskrats. I'm glad you remembered them, Lauren. Also many feathered friends like sandhill cranes, great egrets, and barred owls. And here at Gallup, there are swans, mallard ducks, and Canada geese. And I don't know if you've noticed, but you can also find another species here at Gallup Park today. Human beings. Like you, Lauren. Yep. What have you observed about us humans, Hazel? Well, they can be messy at their picnics. Luckily, we squirrels are around to remind them to be tidy. Thank you for that, Hazel. Okay, back to the water. Here in Michigan, we're lucky to be surrounded by great bodies of water as well as have lots of water inland. You probably know the names of our 5 Great Lakes. Yes, that's easy. The acronym HOMES helps me remember them. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. That's right. Here's a tricky question. Which of the Great Lakes does our Huron River empty into? Yes, that is a tricky one. It's Lake Erie. Correct as usual. Okay, Hazel, do you know which Great Lake doesn't border the state of Michigan? I've studied my geography. That's Lake Ontario. Correct again. Besides the Great Lakes that are bordering us, Michigan has more than 26,000 inland lakes and more than 120 major rivers flowing through it. Of course, we have to mention Tequamanon River Falls, Michigan's largest waterfalls, and the emerald waters of Kitchity-Kippy, Michigan's largest freshwater spring. Both are in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Cool! Meanwhile, down here in southeast Michigan, I'm getting hungry. Let's head for shore. Okay, let's paddle on.
Splendid! I'll have no trouble at all finding a lagoon or two in which to soak my ankles. And maybe some new feathered friends. I do wonder how Michigan came to have such a wealth of water.
The answer to that, Clarissa, lies in the deep and distant past.
Great. Okay, welcome as we reconvene our meeting of the June 30th, 2023 Ann Arbor District Library Board of Trustees meeting. Can we take attendance once again?
Yes.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Yes. We're out of rhythm today because it's a Friday. It's weird.
Any opposed? Not hearing none. The agenda is approved. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that consent agenda passes. And thank you all for your patience. We have now arrived at citizens' comment. Is there anybody from the public who would like to address the board?
Yes, I've got 3 so far.
Okay.
Laverne, Jackson, and Barker, or Parker?
Jackson Barker.
Barker.
So, I've been doing this since, by your records, since 2011. So now, last year, my granddaughter didn't have time to do this. She wanted to do it. She had too much soccer and whatever going on. This year, she's doing it. Oh my God. She called me, she goes to open, she called me as soon as the thing code went up, it opened. BB, the code is, write it down. So anyway, I'm gonna take the picture of this lovely code and I'm out of here.
Since 2011, you said? Since
Um,
2011?
Yeah, I think on your records it's like 2011.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, you know what? Then I was getting like 1,000 points. You know, now I've gotten good at it. Make sure that's clear, and then I can go.
That's so funny.
One thing I learned is, you know what, make sure the pictures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person I have is Sarah O'Connor.
Sarah O'Connor, but yes. Kind of like Terminator, that's what people always say. I'm also just here for the code, but like I've grew up in Ann Arbor and I started playing the summer game code summer game like as a kid, and it's cool to see it like evolve into what it is now. Thank you for all your Pride events, and thank you for, you know, all the support that you give to queer people in this community. Keep up the good work, and I'm also going to take a picture. All right, way
Thanks,
to be.
Sarah.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Susan Vaughn? Vaughn?
I think I have also been playing since 2011 as well. And I wanted to comment that I love the Super Search. It is my new favorite badge. Yes. I wondered about the idea between having different numbers for the daily reviews and the ratings, that there's only one review that you can do, but you can rate 10 things. And I want to do everything together, and I want it to be all the same, but that's just me. And I also would like more longer sleeve options for the summer game, because there's more of the time that it's cold in Michigan than it is warm in Michigan. But this library is amazing. Thank you. Here I go taking my picture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joy Duffy?
Okay. Hi, I'm very grateful for the summer game. Like when I was a kid, I could read at a level like 3 or 4 grades ahead of what I should have been. I even like out-tested higher grades in my reading scores. But so it's not that I couldn't read, it's just reading was like, oh, so tedious, so boring, so blah, blah, blah. But this summer game, when I started playing it, you guys got me excited about reading. You guys taught me that there are fun ways to get excited about reading. And I think your little play on words are just hilarious. And so whoever does those play on words, you guys are so funny. And you're so creative, and I just like the summer reading game, and thank you for a wonderful library.
Thank you, Joy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kathy Chow.
Hi there. My name is Kathy. I'm an avid Ann Arbor Library fan. And I just want to come here today to share some ways that I've used the library just this summer. So at the library building, I've been to all 5 this month. I've used it as a place to relax, to kill time, to charge my phone, co-work, escape from heat, sun, poor air quality, get reliable information on the weather and COVID levels. I've used it as a place to sit down after the hard work of playing too much Pokemon Go. I also use the printer quite a bit. Just today, I printed out a lease agreement. I also printed the summer game printable puzzles because it's Friday and the new puzzles just dropped. Last but not least, I use the printers to print out some pictures of my cats so that I can put them on my fridge and rank who's been a good cat this week. Going to the library and its events are a fun way to get out of the house without buying anything, while also learning about Susalupa phones. At home, I use many resources provided by the library. I finally harvested some herbs and vegetables that I got from the seed sampler this year. I'm glad it's free because most of them died. I've been borrowing puzzles to do after work, CDs, so I can listen to music in my car that doesn't have an aux cord. I borrowed a DVD for my cinema club because we couldn't find it streaming anywhere for free. And speaking of streaming for free, I watched a documentary on fungi last night that is available in the library's streaming video collection on the website, so thank you for that. And as you can see, I spend most of my leisure time using the library. There's so many invaluable services you provide to me and the community, from the important necessities like bathrooms and shelter to the more quirky little things that are what improve my quality of life. I want to thank you for this incredible library system.
Thank you.
All right, I have two, Margaret Warner and Miriam Sullivan.
So, I have loved this library since I moved here in first grade. I go here whenever I can. I think it's amazing that it is rated in the top 5 libraries in the country. And I just have one little suggestion. Make your windows bird safe.
Oh.
I love the libraries. I've been coming here since, I don't know, forever. And I want to say thank you for making a lot of things accessible to me and my family, because I don't have that many books in my house. So, yeah. Thanks.
Rohan D.
Hi, my name is Rowan, and I like the summer game because it is fun, and I hope they bring the Saturday show back. Thank you, Ann Arbor District Library.
Thank you.
I haven't received any others.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Okay, yeah, if you did speak, make sure you get the code from the podium before you go. Okay, I'm checking the clock. I think we're okay here, agenda-wise. So we'll move on to financial reports.
All right, your financial report begins today on page 31, the page labeled 31 of your packet. Just to highlight a few things here. As of the end of May, we'd received 101.1% of the budgeted tax receipts of $18.8 million. Our revenues did decrease last month due to refunds paid to townships, which is fairly customary this time of year. Our general fund balance, that is our rainy day fund, so to speak, increased from $7.6 million to $7.9 million as of May 31st. The standard practice for that is for it to be between 1/4 and 1/3 of your annual operating revenue, and we're pretty close to that. So that's about where it needs to be. On the next page, just to note that total cash receipts, again, is $19.7 million. Revenues are 93% of the approved budget, and current expenses are 82% of the approved budget. Again, that's as of the end of May, so we still have the month that we've just completed that we won't close until the next few weeks go by. We will have and our actual cash receipts, 103% of budget, and actual cash expended, 81% of budget, primarily because we have not yet received a building permit for the plaza construction. We're still working on that. We are on the agenda for next week. So fingers crossed, everyone, and we'll see how we're doing with Scioto Township Board of Trustees. And then we will move forward on that, but that's the primary reason that we have the money that we have in the budget at this point. Then just to look on page 34 about the actual budget for the 10 months, any of those lines that are over 91.6% are a little over budget, and we've got a resolution later to make transfers between the funds. We are required by the auditing standards to finish the year with no lines over the approved budget. So we have transferred more than we are likely to need because as we continue to close out the year, things might come in over the next couple weeks. So we get some breathing room in several of these lines. So the version that was in your packet has been replaced by a loose version. So that makes sure when we get to that point, We were looking at the loose version because since the power outage earlier this week pushed us back 5 days, we were able to get 5 more days of data into that report and have a slightly more accurate picture of where we're likely to end up. So that will be coming up later in the agenda. And that's it for my financial report. Any questions about where that's going? Okay. One last month, we have closed the posting for finance manager, and we have three people that we will be interviewing. So maybe we'll have that filled by the next time we meet. We will find out. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Eli. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. I am first with an executive committee report. We have not had an executive committee meeting since the last library board meeting, so I have nothing to report there. And I guess we've had no other committee meetings since then either. So we'll move on to the library report.
Okay. So if you guys want to cut over to the slide deck here, here's a monthly report. To make sure we have enough time to get through the rest of the business, I'm going to go a little quickly here. So our stat of the month, of course, is Summer Game. Summer Game is off to a huge start. I think the server room is finally not on fire. But it's been really unprecedented. So just to show a couple of those stats, last year we finished the Summer Game with just over 10,000 players. In the first 2 weeks of 2023, we've already hit over 8,500 active players. So these 3 columns, the blue column is 2019, sort of like pre-baseline. 2022 shows we even were growing even through the pandemic years, and 2023 shows the curve is taking off. So we're in a good spot as far as players go as of 6/26. Points earned, we're getting a lot more engagement from those players. Almost double the amount of points earned so far as we had this time last year. Again, in our server room is evidence of that. And then codes redeemed, again, seeing just a huge amount of engagement, people finding codes all over town. It's really been, and this is without us even having launched the lawn codes yet. Those happen at the end of next week, July 7th, the lawn and the library codes come back. The lawn codes will be a new round sign that people will keep and use each year. So once you get one, you will just wipe off your code and put the new one on next year, because you have to have a new code every year. You can't just settle that family argument once and then rely on it the following year. It has to happen every year. And then finally, badges earned, again, showing we're having a lot more engagement. Almost 3 times as many badges earned as just in 2019 at this point in the game. So we're off to a somewhat terrifying start with the Summer Game, and things are going terrific. I believe we're closing in on 1,800 people who have taken a picture of my butt over the past week or so, getting the code off the back of my shirt. So that's been really a delight everywhere I go. I'm beginning to detect when someone is sneaking up behind me with a camera, and that's been going really great. So it's been very fun, and Summer Game's off to a terrific start. To that point, we have some upcoming events that are tied in. The Gemini 50th anniversary concert had been planned for the closing night of Top. It got rained out, so we were able to reschedule that. That's next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. in the lobby at 7 p.m. downtown, and Gemini celebrating 50 years of making music together, and we're so glad we could make that happen here at the library. The Summer Game Spectacular is Saturday, July 29th at Vets Park. Full disclosure, I will not be in attendance. I'm actually going to be out of town, but my shirt will be there. So everyone will be able to get the code who attends that event. The Lego contest is coming up August 6th. We're at a different hotel this year. We're at the Sheraton instead of the other one, Kingsford, whatever, I remember what the other's called, by the mall. Kensington Court, yes. So we'll be at the Sheraton this year, not very different location. We'll see how that goes. And the big Game Over Gala on the last day of the game, Sunday, August 27th at 3 p.m. downtown. That'll be right here in the downtown lobby. Always a good time. For our staff spotlight this month, we're highlighting Jim Gallo. This is not a picture of Jim. This is a picture of his dog. This is Jim Gallo as a technical services clerk. Every single magazine that is on the shelf is something that Jim handled. He's been doing this for 32 years here at AADL, and he does a fantastic job. He doesn't just handle all the magazines. He also does collection development, knowing what's working and what's not. As you can imagine, the magazine industry has changed enormously over the 32 years that Jim has worked here, and he has really done an amazing job staying on top of those changes and really keeping a collection of magazines that are really very valued by the members of the community. So thank you, Jim, for all of your work for the library, and thank you to the 90-pound, 14-month-old Labrador Retriever who doesn't retrieve. All right, AADL in the community. So in mid-June, the Hikone Community Center held an event to help prepare their garden. AADL stopped by staff and seeds from the Seed Sampler program to combine efforts with Growing Hope members. We planted seeds in containers for homes, participated in garden cleanup, and created adorable garden decorations. And this is a wonderful comment from someone who saw it in action. Mention of the month, this is from Make Music Day. Make Music Day was a big success. We had almost 43 concerts around town, off to a great start. Really had probably the best attendance at our Westgate concerts out in the Westgate courtyard. We got a great news hit from CBS Detroit that covered the Make Music Day and put us on the air. And so this is a photo from the Instagram account of Patrick Deneau, who's a guitarist on the left, showing his daughter dancing as his band, the City Lions, play at the Downtown Library on Make Music Day. So looking forward to many more years of that event. We did have some venues, downtown businesses, who did not match with an artist this year. I've reached out to all of them to let them know that we're sorry it didn't work out this year, but that we're looking forward to working with them and seeing if we can make that happen as the event continues to grow. I think there were something like, I don't even remember how many concerts there were across the country. It was something like 1,500 concerts through all the cities in the U.S. are participating in this. They do also do a winter version of this on the winter solstice. We will not be participating in that in our climate, but we'll save that for a summer event. Another mention of the month about the summer game. This is from Jenny Kai and Lemon Flowers, 2 Instagram shares. The first was a direct message we received at 1:53 a.m. about how excited one summer game player is to play the game. I need you guys to know that I've never been more excited for something than the summer game. This is it, my time. The second share is an Instagram story of a family enjoying a cooler summer day doing summer game code hunting. So summer game bigger than ever. Here's our compliment of the month. A patron stopped by the desk to let us know how thankful she is that we have an all-gender bathroom. It's made a difference for her family since she has a non-binary child and also a son who she needs to help sometimes in the bathroom. They've all felt welcomed, even if it is a small change. So we're very glad to hear that. For our complaint of the month, we received a complaint about New York Times that I want to bring to your attention. Access to New York Times through the AADL portal does not work anymore. Any article I try to read, e.g. New York Times op-eds, now throws up a half page saying I need to have a subscription. Also, the AADL subscription to the nytimes.com is of limited use since a lot of content still remains behind the paywall requiring a personal subscription. We've reached out to this patron to help them get this squared away. What happened is we had 2 ways that we access the New York Times through our contract. One is what we call the easy way, where you just use your regular AADL login. The other is the hard way, where you have to receive an access code, click a redeem button, then log in with a New York Times account. The nice thing about the hard way is that once you've validated that code, that user, that NewYorkTimes.com user, has full access to everything except cooking and crosswords, which is not for sale to libraries, has full access to everything on any device. So including if they use a tablet or a phone, once they log in once, all of their devices will have that access. That works really nicely. The easy way appears not to be working anymore. We're not sure if it can be brought back or not. One of our staffers was at ALA and asked the New York Times people at the show about it, and they shrugged, this. It is ultimately to sell papers and to sell subscriptions. So the incentives are not really very strong for them to make this really work super well. So you may hear about it because some people who've gotten accustomed to using the easy way are going to have some bumps. There is a way to do it, and it's actually better because you get better access to more things. It's just fussier to get through each morning. So just so everyone's aware of that, that's our complaint of the month. And this is the page that it looks like. This is aadl.org/New York Times. And we've taken away the link to the old way that doesn't work anymore. Now it just says via daily access codes. You click that, you click redeem, you log into your New York Times account. It tries to onboard you again and get you subscribed to all their newsletters. And then you're off and running for 24 hours. So just to put that all on your radar. And just so that anyone's not feeling they have to come and sneak around my back, here's the code from the back of my shirt, Here I Am SG, and that's worth 1,000 points for finding me and the Finding Eli badge. There's also a bonus code somewhere in the catalog that this code will help you find. So Here I Am SG is my code. Paparazzi. Okay, and that's my report. Any questions? Oh, yes, please. I will leave that up for a while.
So the hard way means that you have to get a code every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to handle the code.
Yeah.
It gives you the code and you click redeem.
Yeah.
But then it's confusing because they take you through their onboarding process every day.
Oh my gosh,
so
really?
You have to say, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want,
Yeah.
But once you get through it, you're good to go for 24 hours.
Got it.
It's such a problem with newspapers.
Yeah.
I had something the other day where someone wanted something they saw in the Detroit Free Press online, but it's not in the published edition, like the print edition, so
yeah,
you can't get it.
It's hard. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Eli. And unless Len has slides, we can leave that up for a minute. So we'll move on to library fleet vehicles, item of discussion.
Does everyone get the code? Because Len does have slides.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon. All right, so let's continue our discussion about fleet vehicles. I think everyone has some prepared quotes.
Yep.
I will say it was a bit more difficult than I anticipated. Inventory is not as high as I would expect, and a lot of dealerships were actually out to 2024 and didn't have pricing. So we'll start with the F-250. That is an image of the quote from Varsity Ford, which should be your first page. The other thing I learned, the two quotes for the F-250, Varsity Ford does have us in fleet pricing with the city of Ann Arbor. So anything we do with them is significantly cheaper than any other dealership, and which makes sense. We service our vehicles there, and I believe we've purchased every vehicle from there except for one. So the two prices for the facilities grounds maintenance truck, we'll call it, Varsity Ford was $60,539.06, and Brighton Ford was $73,129. I think there's an image of the Brighton Ford. It's the same truck.
Yeah.
Different plow, same truck. So those are the two that have them in stock, could deliver. Anything else would be out to 2024 with no pricing yet. All right, moving on. So you should have the quote from Motive. The attachments are there for the upfit, but I put on the first page the total cost, which is $204,680. That is an image of the truck. It's almost identical to the truck we have. And if you go to the next slide, that would be the next quote for the gas box truck, which again is identical. They are the same chassis, the same cutaway, the same upfitter for the box. So a gas box truck is probably an 8 to 12 month lead time, and Varsity Ford was the only person that could give us a price. That was $73,807.97.
So just to be clear, Len.
Yes.
So these are the same chassis, same cabin, same add-on upfits
Yes.
after the purchase.
Yes.
Such as the lift gate, the
Yes.
rails on the inside for securing our materials, doing the same thing to both of them. It's just whether it has the internal combustion drivetrain or the electric drivetrain.
Yes, and I think there's a bit of a better breakdown on the gas box truck, because it is the same thing. The first sheet of the quote for the gas box truck, this is exactly what would be purchased if it was the Motive EV. This is the cabin chassis they would purchase, take it to Novi, take everything combustion off, electrify it, send it to Elkhart, Indiana, bring it back, finish it. It is the exact same cabin chassis.
I'm sorry, we're looking at the one that's 73 and the other is 204?
Yes.
This is a 73.
And that's sort of the breakdown that we've been talking
EV
about. between
versus gas, yes.
Got it, thank
Yep.
you.
And then lastly, which is, I think, the least of our, not really a priority for us, is the EV van. They are in stock. There is pricing at multiple dealerships, but the in-stock one was Varsity Ford. That's $57,305. They have those around town in Ann Arbor. They deliver parts with them, and it's about 110-mile range. So at the time that we would get rid of or replace a mid to medium-sized van, which we have the yellow van, this is probably what we'd recommend. And maybe this, if to go electric with the vehicle, knowing this is a smaller one, knowing this is in our community, this might be the first one we would try.
So one of the things that Len and I were talking about with this is that this would be the most obvious place to start with an EV because it is a manufacturer EV as opposed to a conversion EV. Even though the conversion truck that we're looking at is using, it's not like the parts that they manufactured. They're using industry standard parts. The catch is we don't need this right now because our yellow van is really doing okay. I mean, it's aging, but we don't really need this at the moment, but they have them right now. And when it dies, we may not be able to get an electric replacement on short order. However, if it dies, all of a sudden, we could really go a number of months without it, without it being a problem while we wait for an EV to come in stock. So this is like the easiest thing for us to do, but it's also the one that out of these three vehicles that we need to replace the least.
Yes.
remind us the time frame on the, sorry, remind us what's left, the life that's left on the box truck?
Depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends on the day. I
Very
mean,
little.
I would like to make a decision sooner than later on that. I mean, the F-250 is the one that's 20 years old. If we do anything maintenance with it, that's in need of replacement. The box truck really is at a point, it could be 6 months, it could be 12 months, but it's the wait time. To, it doesn't matter if it's gas or electric, we're probably 8 months to 12 months either way.
And the box truck is what you're using to move the collection around to get to patrons, so if you don't have it.
Well,
guess
it's
you could rent.
unavailable frequently.
Yes, we rent.
We rent often
Yeah.
to be able to keep the route going when it's off the road. I mean, sometimes off the road because it's getting the graphics changed on the side.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's maintenance we have. It goes into the shop. It's over in Canton. We take it to get the wrap done. But Jamie, it's on the road all day, every day.
I see it all the
Seven days a
time.
week. It is on the road. So that is the vehicle that has the most mileage. It's not the oldest vehicle, but that is the vehicle that does most of the work.
Are you gonna run that one until it dies, or if we get the new one, will we dispossess
That was the
ourselves?
plan,
Yeah.
yes, that was the plan. Since we have the plaza, we have space to store it.
Yeah.
Would be to then take it out of service the vehicle completely and have that as a backup.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things like any event we do, when, I know we did, Full Moon, that was a whole thing where we rented a truck.
Yeah.
So to have that second truck, it would be nice. So I don't think we would trade that in. I think we would keep it as a backup. Absolutely.
I mean, you're using it so much, it feels like the impact of it being electric is significant. But in terms of it being a moment to buy or not, I just defer so much to those of you who are thinking about this more, transit-wise. Because I am a buy one car and let it die gradually over a period of 17 years person.
Len, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you've heard from the city about some of the heavy equipment they're doing?
Yeah, I was in the 820 meeting this past Tuesday, and they were talking about some of their fleet vehicles. They've committed to Peterbilt's, which would be the heavy, that's what we started looking at. I think we looked at I think it was a Kenworth was the first thing we looked at. It was too big, and they're not on the road. So the city has looked at the heavy fleet vehicles, and I think it was Peterbilt. They're still waiting. They did purchase an electric bucket truck that is in use, and they've looked at a fire truck. I think they said the police chief or the fire chief has seen it and looked at it. So, but most everything they've done is in that transit line. It's in the light duty fleet because it's still not established in heavy duty. Now they are purchasing stuff we would never purchase. As far as that heavy duty fleet, we're always going to be light to medium duty. But I think it's coming to our town. There are electric vehicles, light vehicles. I think the university has them, the city now has them. Even our lawn service we've done with Weingarts, the electric mower you all approved that we purchased. I know the university and AAPS also have the same mowers, a fleet of them, and that thing has been amazing. So it's coming, but yet the heavy duty stuff is still a long lead time, and I don't know if they have a date.
So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's not like in another year, a bunch of electric box trucks ready-made are gonna hit the market, right?
True.
The industry has not kept up with this sort of interest and demand, and so if we wanna go electric for a box truck anytime soon, we're going with some kind of custom. Is that a fair?
I think that's fair. I mean, we did about a year's worth of research. This was the only legitimate company that would meet with us, talk with us, let us see their vehicles, let us talk to their customers. Everything else was kind of a promise and a little bit of a back and forth. So if it was an electric box truck, Motive is the manufacturer, the provider that does the upfit for these. But there's not a lot out there. I think it's still kind of in the works.
And to follow up on that, Motive is out there. There may be other outfitters soon, but it's not like we're going to see Ford pushing these off the line in 2 years.
I don't think, from what I've learned, I don't think Ford is anywhere, or I won't even say Ford, any of the manufacturers are going to get into medium to heavy duty anytime soon. Everything's light duty. Everything's a passenger vehicle or smaller. And I think that's also the holdup of where the cab and chassis is, where you have to purchase, it doesn't, with Motive, they can do the same thing with any manufacturer. They just typically have done it with the E350. But you're still buying a combustion vehicle and stripping it down. So I don't think they're anywhere near production for your major automakers to do light or medium and heavy.
And the other thing is the amount of miles that Motive's electric products already have out there and that we can talk to customers that are using them.
And can you remind us as well, the existing partnerships that Motive has in terms of where has this been used and successful? And additionally, in terms of maintenance, it is confirmed, right, that we would be able to do this in-state pretty closely as well, so we wouldn't have to ship it off anywhere, to my
As far as
understanding.
maintenance goes, most of it, they would actually come to you.
Great.
If it was a big problem, it would go to Novi. Where they're using it, that kind of perked us up was Canada and New York.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of it. It's like the FedEx of Canada.
Great.
They had a purchase of, I think, 5 and then ordered 55 more.
Wow, okay.
And I will say it was odd. The Transit, the small vehicle that was electric, has the same range as the box truck.
Wow. That's helpful to know.
Right, bigger battery bank, obviously, in the box truck. But the range itself was the same in both vehicles.
That's impressive.
I mean, the cost is not wildly different. It's more, but you're paying for something custom.
You mean with the van? Or with the box truck?
The custom box
Yeah,
truck.
and given the nature of the way the vehicle is used, and it's particularly advantageous to have an electric vehicle because it's stop and go, it's not highway miles, and so with all of that less wear and tear on all the moving parts, like we're gonna have to do brake jobs like we do, but like a lot of the engine stuff, hopefully, in the electric vehicle, mean less of it going out for maintenance, less renting trucks.
Plus, how much do you spend on gas, like every single day on that, like over a period of time?
It's not nothing, but it's not a lot. It's city miles, I mean, they're not filling up every day. If they fill up, they can go most of the week, but it's still, it's still at idle a lot. At the lights and every stop sign in town, it's at idle a lot.
And it's all miles in the city. So thinking about like the pollution aspects, this is one of the reasons why it feels really worthwhile to me, because these are all miles in Ann Arbor and air that like our patrons are breathing.
Right.
I think you just said this, but how long have you had the box truck that we have now?
I think it was 2015 or 16. Okay. No, that's not true. I came in here in 15. It's a 14. It was a year before I got it.
So close to 10 years.
Yeah.
So, is that sort of the expectation lasts about 10 years?
For as much as that one's used, yes. Some of our other vehicles that, they get used, but that one is just nonstop, traveling town. So suspension, brakes, everything is taking a beating in that truck. It's nonstop on the road, so. And our route, as we call it, as we go through branches, it is kind of perfect for any electric vehicle, whether it's maintenance or the route, because you're basically doing a 30-mile circle and then you stop for a charge. And you're never going on the highway. So every time that's come up, they're like, oh, this is ideal. Sales will always say that, but it's true. I mean, these are city miles. If there ever was a battery issue, you pull off and you're able to stop and charge. We're not going cross-country.
So are you looking for a decision today from us, or where are we at with this? We've been
I
talking
would
about this for a while.
Up to you.
Okay.
We could make a decision today on 1 or 2, or we can bring the resolutions back next month.
Well, with the truck, I feel like we need the truck. I feel like we can make a decision.
That's
on the
what,
truck,
yes,
right?
for that one
for
there,
this one,
I would
it's-
like to commit to that before someone else buys it.
Yep.
Especially at
That
this
one seems
price.
sort of like, we talked about this is sort of a no-brainer, we need
Yeah.
it, there's nothing really, it's just like, right? Does that feel right? Okay.
Can I ask, what was
Yes.
the wait time for the Motive car?
They said 6 to 8, but I'm gonna say 6 to 12.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so that would be a good thing to get. the ball
Yes.
rolling.
Weeks or months?
And that's, I'm sorry, months,
Months, that's what I
always
figured,
months,
yeah.
thank you. That is also part of the conversation with the wait time, even if we went gas. because we would still have to purchase the cabin chassis for the upfit. It's the same either way.
Yep.
And there's a wait list on those.
Yeah.
So either way, we'd have to purchase the cabin chassis before we could set anything else up. And that's, so their time was that 6 to 8 months. I would build in some more time to be able to purchase the cabin chassis.
Okay.
So I would say probably 12 for the EV.
Okay, so we should do that.
Yeah, where are people at with
Yeah,
box
that's-
truck?
that was my
That's what I
question.
want to know. I keep
Yeah.
going back and forth personally.
I'm more leaning towards it at this point. I think
Yeah.
until today, I wasn't there. I think Molly's point of, this isn't gonna change anytime soon, and this is a truck we put on the road in the city every day. And, you know, we can do it, right? It's not gonna kill the budget. So I think it makes sense to go forward with the motive. And at this point, I think I'd be comfortable with that, but I'm curious what other people think.
I think additionally as well, we made the point that if we don't invest in this electric vehicle now, the opportunity at this scale is lost for quite some time.
Yeah, a decade, yeah.
A decade. So I think now we can really reaffirm our commitment to living more eco-friendly as well. I think that your research, Len, has been hugely helpful in understanding in terms of the maintenance, the associated operations there, as well as the cost. Particularly as well, I feel like because they do have such a reputation with their existing partners and clients, I feel more confident. And so I appreciate the verification of that as well.
Thank you.
I mean, clearly I've been arguing for the truck today. I think I am acutely, in this particular moment, feeling like if we can do anything to move in the right direction around emissions, like,
Right.
this is a tiny place where we have the ability to make that impact. And so I'm feeling it today.
Yeah, it's not been a great week to walk around the city.
No, it has not.
Right.
No. Also, I just feel like the quicker we get the ball rolling on this, the quicker we can be, then it's in our system, and we can, the other options as they become available, switch over. So,
yeah.
For what it's worth, this is the, moving on the motive electric box truck is a lower risk and a lower investment than the geothermal systems that we're
Right,
putting in the
exactly,
plaza.
yeah.
You know, that's really, that has a lot more risk, and it's a lot harder to get anyone's experience. Like, there's nobody who you can ask who will give you, yeah, we bought 55 more of them in the geothermal space. You know, so it's very it's like, this is as good as it gets in terms of us being able to research the use of a product we don't own. So I think that we've nailed down the risk as best we can with this, and it seems like a reasonable thing to move forward with.
So from us, do you need anything beyond that direction, or?
What I would like, if this is okay, I would like the motive to be a resolution for next month.
Yep.
Because I want to have that final conversation with the vendor. This was, if you look, this quote was from February. I want to make sure everything's included. You know, it was the charger that we had talked about, everything. We talked about it, I think the first conversation, my number was, I said around 220,000, because that wasn't, I mean, this does include everything in our first conversation. I just want to make sure whatever the board approves and whatever the resolution is, that's all included. I don't expect it to go up a significant number. I just want to make sure that number is accurate.
Why don't we, though, we could resolve you up to 250 today, and that would give you the flexibility to go forward if it, within that variable range. I mean,
That would
I'd
be
comfortable
perfect,
doing
because that, if we, the other reason I want to do it, what if we do 2 charging units? If we did a charging station downtown and one at the plaza, I wanted to make sure that was included, because you might have idle time here during the day and in plaza overnight. So that would be perfect.
Unless Motive is watching this meeting right now and they've said that, but, and now they're going to charge us. I just want to comment, which is say I'm also on board for this. You know, I mean, we're looking at something that is it is considerably more expensive than the gas option. And I also, like, the sky's on fire. So, like, you know, what I wanted to say was that we have had a lot of conversations in here thinking about sustainability that are often related to very specific purchases, and it does make me wonder if you know, we ought to think about a kind of standard for ourselves, or a vision for ourselves that's like a lot, you know, that's a little more clear and explicit and aligned with the goals of the city. And you may have some of those things operating internally already, but a goal for us to kind of think towards, or a set of values at least, that could guide this conversation. Because I think that the decisions, at least in the near term, are going to be like, spend a whole lot more money to make the right decision. But if we're all aiming towards whatever that kind of uber goal is for the district, that helps kind of inform what will no doubt be more conversations like this to come, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think this would be a more grounded conversation with a policy statement that would guide what the metrics are by which you make the decisions.
Right. Not to be dogmatic about it, that's not what I'm suggesting, but I think that there's like a shared understanding that maybe manifests as a policy.
Yeah, I think it's like an efficiency thing, and we needed to have all these conversations because it's an evolving way that we're thinking and acting, I think. But you're right.
Also, I do think that, of course, this board is not static. I think having it in writing in terms of our policy approach, at least for now, can be a springboard or guiding point for future iterations as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to approve the purchase of this vehicle from Motive up to the price of $250,000.
So moved.
Thank you. We need a second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, and this is just a straight up vote, right? Yeah. So, all in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Yes. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously.
Do you need a similar resolution for the truck?
Yes, please.
I'd like to make a motion to, or I'd like to hear a motion to approve the purchase of, what is this, the F-250 gas vehicle, purchase price $60,539.
Do you want some cushion in there, Len?
Yeah. Shall we?
65?
I say 65, but this is a good number.
Yeah.
This is the solid quote.
Up to the purchase price of $65,000.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Jim, that passes.
Thank
Oh
you
my
all.
gosh, we're going to buy this electric vehicle.
Well, and I'll say that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
The one thing we didn't do is forecast that cradle to grave cost, right?
Thank
So if you take fuel and oil changes and all that, that number is closer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
terrific.
number is closer than it appears on paper, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of maintenance we won't
And
be
also,
paying for.
us having two takes a lot of cost out of it as well, because it's
Yeah.
not cheap to rent the replacement.
Yeah, this is terrific.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the work on this too.
Yeah, no
Like a
problem.
lot of
My pleasure.
research.
Thank you.
Karen, did you get everything you needed?
Great. Okay, moving on to new business, a resolution to amend the 2022-2023 approved budget, as Eli alluded to earlier.
Okay, so make sure you're looking at the loose copy, not the copy in the packet, which is slightly modified. And just to touch on what some of these are, we've been talking along throughout the year about that the benefits projections were low and that we needed to make an adjustment to that. Also, the MEPSR's pass-through has been running a little bit higher than we expected. These are all things that we've been looking at throughout the course of the year. We are moving some more money into the accounting audit. That's not because of audit, but because we had the resignation of our accounts payable clerk. So we've been using a temp from our CFO accounting firm. So there's a little bit more cost associated with that. For materials, this $300,000 from capital outlay to materials. I don't anticipate it will actually be that much, but it's extremely hard to nail down because it's the part of the budget where sometimes a big invoice will arrive late. And if it comes after the end of the fiscal year but is dated for June, then it comes out of the previous fiscal year. So we just want to make absolutely sure, because it's a requirement that none of these lines finish over budget, that we have enough room in there. Copier expense, we've been talking about that throughout the year. Library programming, again, there could be some big things that are just now making their way into the financial system. We want to make sure that we have enough room there. None of this is an overall increase in budget. It's just moving things from one line item to another, almost exclusively using some of that unspent money that we plan to use on plaza furniture that we were not able to spend because we haven't got a building permit yet. So almost all of these transfers are coming from that, with the exception of we're transferring from salaries and wages to benefits and from salaries and wages to MEPSers. So our staffing costs stay within staffing costs. So that's kind of the rundown of this. Anyone have any questions about this? We'll want to read it into the record.
Okay, I will read it in and then we will move and discuss. So the board resolves as follows: to transfer $350,000 from salaries and wages to employee benefits, to transfer $50,000 from salaries and wages to MIPSers pass-through, to transfer $25,000 from capital outlay to accounting/audit, to transfer $300,000 from capital outlay to materials, to transfer $20,000 from capital outlay to copier expenses, to transfer $200,000 from capital outlay to library programming, to transfer $10,000 from capital outlay to grants and memorial, to transfer $5,000 from capital outlay to postage, and to transfer $30,000 from capital outlay to custodial services, and that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. May I have a motion?
So
moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Let me add one more thing here, which
Yep.
is to say that part of the reason, I just lost it. It was not that important. Part of the reason that we are transferring, part of the reason that we are not so sure about the $300,000 capital outlay to materials is because that is a line that almost stops spending in June because we don't want things to come in after the end of the fiscal year. So as a result, these projections are based on the May numbers. So this doesn't really take into effect that really that line stops getting spent. So it's likely to wind up considerably less than that. We just don't want to run the risk of it going over. So that's why that's that amount. It's based on the projections, which don't really take into account the fact that that line is typically very lightly spent in June.
It makes total sense.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, so all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? No, okay, so the resolution passes. Thank you. We will move on to the HVAC mechanical contract with Len again.
And trustees who might need to leave because of the reschedule, we are in good shape. We only need 4 trustees to approve everything that's left. So if you have to go, you go.
Okay, thanks. Can stay till.
Hello again.
Long time no see.
Right? In 2020, we went out to bid. We do this usually every 3 to 5 years, and we approved the 3-year contract for mechanical services with Shambaugh with 2 one-year options. We're within that year, still happy with Shambaugh. We'd like to implement that first 1-year option, if you all approve. Now, the price does, I don't know if you have that one. So,
Yeah, I was looking for it.
okay, so the year 1 was $98,760. Year 2 was $100,220. Year 3, which was this year, was $102,740. The 4th year option is $104,280. That is also the 5th year option. And mechanical does go up every year because your equipment gets older.
This is a firm we've used for many years. They know our
Yeah.
equipment very well. This is one of those things where, in the absence of a problem, it's really wise to continue with your people who know the systems.
So are you asking for us to have a resolution for next meeting? Is that what you, or are you asking for a resolution today?
Does this require a resolution? So the contract was approved, and
It was
we're,
approved with those options
Yes.
available, so it's just informing the board. If
Yes.
the board
Okay.
has no
Yes.
objection to using those options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a go.
Okay.
Thank you, Karen.
all right,
Yeah,
thank
I don't
you.
have any questions, so yeah, sounds great. Next one is the janitorial services contract.
Yes, same thing, went out to bid in 2020, 3-year contract, 2 one-year options. We'd like to pick up the first 1-year option. With this contract, the value is the same. I think it's $22,001 a month. So the annual contract for all janitorial services throughout the system is $264,012. That did not increase. Well, years 1 through 5 in their contract was the same value. And then we'd like to implement the first 1-year option or year 4.
Yeah, I guess the one question I have on these is just thinking into the future. Like, we know wages have gone up, and like we have these options locked in the contract, right? So we can exercise those options and we know what the price is going to be. Are we anticipating when we run out of those options, the prices are going to increase?
Yes.
Substantially?
Yes.
Like more than like?
It's hard to
Yeah,
say. I
yeah.
mean, with mechanical, it's always going to go up because
Right.
what we have with mechanical is a first full service contract. That means if they are maintaining it and it breaks outside of things like coils and internal parts,
Then they fix it.
they are responsible for the parts. So there's a huge value in that. With janitorial, yes, as wages increase and supplies increase, it's usually just not a lot. It's within, 5 to 10% usually, whereas a mechanical could jump quite a bit.
Yeah.
The age of this building alone, if we were to replace one of the chillers, it'd probably start at $200,000.
Yeah.
And that's, nowhere near the value of the contract. And so I like to build in the options.
Having
for
the
that
options is
reason.
great, just for the predictability,
Yeah.
so we can budget into the future. And
You can
make
always
sure-
back away
Yeah.
at the end of the 3 years, but if you're happy and the price is locked in, you go ahead and move forward.
Yeah, great, yeah. Anybody else? All right, so then we will move on to D, resolution to recognize Michael Irwine for his donation of a compendium of historical Ann Arbor documents to the AADL archive. Do we have any presentation on this, or is it?
There's not a
simply just
present, I have one
resolution?
slide I can
Yeah.
show if you guys want to pull up, go back to my deck here for a
Yeah.
minute. I have a slide that shows a nice photo of Michael and one of his books, which is titled Poster Guy, Michael Erlewine, by Michael Erlewine. He has a fabulous collection of stuff that he's put together over the years. He was right here in the middle of all of it back in the 60s and was also the founder of the All Music Guide and really became an internet entrepreneur and is now at the point where he's looking to start getting rid of some of this stuff. And because of the relationship that our archives team has built with him over the years, he wants it all to come here. And we are just delighted by that. We're thrilled to have his collections of all types of materials, which is also meticulously organized. It does not usually work that way.
Nice, yes,
Wow.
indeed.
It's really well organized and it's great. So we're just very thankful that he's chosen to do that. We wanted to recognize that with a board resolution and have you all sign it so we can send him a copy for himself.
Okay, so when reading this in, do I just read in the resolved clauses? Is that, or do I read in the whole thing?
I think it'd be nice to read the whole thing if you
Okay,
don't
great.
mind.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just couldn't remember the procedure there. All right, so I will read this one in. Whereas Michael Erlewine has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to documenting Ann Arbor's musical heritage from the folk and blues scene during the late 1950s and early 1960s through the original Ann Arbor Blues Festival and subsequent Ann Arbor Blues and Jazz festivals, and the countercultural music scene that followed. And whereas Michael has preserved and cataloged early recordings, photographs, and other material associated with the Prime Movers Blues Band, a band he co-founded that was inducted into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame in 2015. And whereas Michael's pioneering use of database software, including Matrix software in 1977, led to the first ever program for the astrology community, a significant rock music poster database, and the All Music Guide, currently Ann Arbor Business allmusic.com. And whereas Michael has donated hundreds of thousands of files to the Ann Arbor District Library pertaining to the works above and more, including interviews, essays, photographs, original artwork, audio, and video recordings. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Ann Arbor District Library Board, on behalf of the library staff and the Ann Arbor community, does hereby tender to Michael Erlewine both its appreciation of his many labors on behalf of Ann Arbor's cultural heritage and thanks him for his donation to the Ann Arbor District Library Archive. And two, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
What an amazing treasure trove of stuff to be receiving. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And yeah, it's great to see all this amazing stuff, and especially seeing it come so well organized and cared for. Because I've seen some other archives of really interesting stuff that is not that. So,
Thinking of Arbor Vitae
yes.
and the storage closet. Yes.
That is one of them. Yes, really cool stuff. Yeah, not so well organized. Okay, all in favor, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Look forward to signing that.
That clock behind you is really wrong, so I actually have to.
Oh, yeah, it is really wrong.
And finally, we have the, before we get to the second round of citizens' comments, we give the director's evaluation letter from the AADL board. Is that in the packet?
Is in the ephemera. Do you need a copy of it?
I do not have it in
Yes, I
front
have
of
that
me.
here.
And do we read that in as
You
well?
have it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. We'll be happy.
Thank you.
That's the right one.
All right. So, and this is not a vote, this is just reading it into the record, is that, or do we vote? Okay, great. So I'll read this into the record. Dear Director Nieberger, it is my honor on behalf of the Ann Arbor District Library Board of Trustees to submit this letter as your formal performance evaluation for the period beginning July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. In your first year, you have more than earned the trust and confidence the board placed in you in this new role. In this transition, you have deftly handled multiple significant institutional changes, including accretion of the majority of staff into bargaining units, implementing a new updated accounting system, multiple significant facilities and real estate scenarios, and an ongoing transition to the return of in-person programming, all while maintaining the excellence and service our community appreciates and expects from the library. As we've transitioned to the return of live events, we value your proactive support and ongoing work to make library programming ever more welcoming and inclusive for all members of our community. We are delighted to see downtown again bursting at the seams as an active hub of community events. Your ongoing engagement with potential partners and deliberate steps, including the recent community survey, have kept us moving toward our goal to determine the future of the downtown branch. Ongoing cultivation of meaningful and strategic relationships with key stakeholders, political figures, and community leaders to educate the community about the library's strengths and vision have both contributed to achieving our long-term vision for downtown and also highlight the value of the library's ongoing independence. While we are fortunate to have an incredibly supportive community and years of consistently healthy property tax base, we know we must continue to manage our finances prudently. You have clearly identified the many upcoming financial realities we will need to balance to achieve our goals and aspirations. We look forward to working with you to navigate the path forward on completing our Parkland Plaza facility build-out, determining the future of the downtown branch, ensuring that we are able to pay our staff fairly while maintaining our positive, productive relationship with labor unions, and continuing to operate the entire system efficiently and with excellence. New board members have appreciated your attention and support as they have been onboarded and able to quickly, actively contribute to board work. Our executive committee also feels strongly supported as we have taken on our new roles. Your collaborative and candid approach to working with us gives us confidence in our ability to effectively govern this institution. In a time of many seemingly intractable crises, the library continues to be a beacon for intellectual freedom, inclusion, and a model for how we can sustain institutions to care for each other so we all may thrive. The excellent work of the library staff under your leadership makes us all proud to be affiliated with this essential institution. With sincere admiration, Scott Trudeau. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Eli, you've had a great first year. And I just have to say how grateful and also impressed that I am and the board is with just an incredible transition. And there have been unbelievable challenges along the way. And having led the search committee and worked with you for most of last year as the board president, I just, you know, you have my highest admiration and compliments, and keep up the good work, because there are many more challenges ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. So moving on, we have another window for citizens' comments. Do we have anybody who would like to address the board? Have we received anything? No? Okay, seeing no one, then we can call this meeting adjourned. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out on this Friday.